Gradually, for several decades now, an alarming percentage of American citizens look favorably towards socialism. As someone who used to be part of that growing trend, I've noticed that if people that have been capitalists all their lives continue to be the ones to carry on the debate against the socialists, we may see an increase to those percentages. Let me show you where those numbers are at as of today. Just 6 years ago, in 2019, 70% of millennials wanted to vote for a socialist presidential candidate. Just 2 years later, a different poll shows us that overall, 41% of American adults looked favorably towards socialism. Fast forward to today, and we have 49% of Gen Z sympathizing towards socialism, and an additional 26% of adults want to begin to see the U.S. government move away from capitalist systems and go more towards implementing socialist ideals. Fellow Americans, I'm excited to share this video with you today because I believe in it lies our only key and hope to finally be able to convince this growing population that moving away from capitalism instead of using democracy to improve it is not the answer for a better tomorrow. So here goes. To begin, I will direct my words towards the people on my own side of the debate, us capitalists. This advice comes in two main parts. Part one, using hate to even genuinely try to convince the communist socialists that their political system would never work, will never work. Let me show you just one of so many examples of what this looks like. This video starts with a clip of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez defining what capitalism is for her. Don't get me wrong, her definition is no doubt gravely incorrect. And Mr. Thomas Sowell does do a magnificent job at defending capitalism, but not so much at debunking communism, socialism. And not because he lies or exaggerates about anything he says against the Soviet Union, China, Cuba, or Venezuela. In fact, I'm sure his statistics are correct. However, it is mentioned totally unnecessarily. So, capitalists, once and for all, let's get this through our heads. It is useless to try to convince a communist socialist that their political system is evil because of all the murders, incarcerations, and existence of people with unhappy, unfulfilled lives within those four communist and other countries. It is useless to try to convince a communist socialist that their political system would collapse by mentioning all previous and current failed implementations of the system, because no communist socialist is actually interested in reviving or mimicking any one of those models. No communist has ever or would ever say, let Cuba continue to be communist and let the United States continue its embargo with Cuba. Get it? Anyone who is a communist socialist today wants to see their political system in real life mirroring the system on paper, mirroring the theory. And in no part of the theory is a strong enemy that undermines their efforts mentioned, not foreign nor domestic. Part two, for us capitalists, it is key to know why some people look towards communism, socialism. Stop thinking it's because of laziness.
Those damn commies, they're just lazy. Sure, since that system is all about handing everything out to them, all they got to do is their little duty, and they get it all for free. They're just lazy.
No, it's not. Now, before I tell you what it is, know that what I will refer to is the core motivator of communism and socialism. I say this because I know there are rumors that certain movements like Black Lives Matter and others have socialist agendas. But I'm going after the main core reason that people look towards communism, socialism. That way, we could eliminate the desire for it completely. People, especially Americans, look towards communism or socialism because they have big hearts. They blame capitalism for the existence of mass starvation, mass homelessness, and even mass lower middle class, which more than often are people overwhelmed by stress and all the health complications that come with it due to their financial instability. Now, the last piece of the puzzle is to explain something that the US government should not be so afraid to reveal. And that is, what would communism look like in modern times if successfully applied to a large scale? Something that has never been achieved before. Because in a small scale, it has been achieved. The Native Americans. Think about how they lived and functioned. That's communism. But in modern times, it would look like this. Think of everyday society functioning exactly as it does now, just without money. In other words, communists believe that instead of using money to incentivize people to do their work, that they would also do so with the understanding that so long as I do my part in my community, all my other needs would be fulfilled by each of the other members in my community. Comment explain more if you need more in-depth details of this little part. So, that was the good part. Now, let's look at the bad. So, as far as building more homes for new families and individuals, there would be differences compared to how we're used to seeing things function today. And not just with homes, but with pretty much everything. There would be no variety in all products. Because remember, now we need to produce enough for everybody. Pretty boring, right? Yet still, those sacrifices would be gladly accepted by communists. Can you guess why? Correct. Because now their main core desire is satisfied. In other words, they'd have peace of mind that now mass human misery would be seen eliminated. Now we need part 2 of this video, correct? Since this video was about explaining to capitalists how to have a better fighting chance at debating with communists and ultimately convincing them. Part 2 would be actually now hearing my debunking of communism or socialism. Fellow Americans, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please share this video as much as you can. I truly believe that with this and my next video, we can really make a real dent. Okay, let me remind you, 75% of Americans do not look favorably towards capitalism. In the last presidential election, we had a
a very big voter turnout, and almost 36% of eligible voting Americans did not vote. We can add all of those people to our efforts to make America really great again. See you shortly.